time. You can't really do all one thing without involving other body parts. So a little of everything, but our focus is the hips. So we're gonna start on our backs. You can lay down with your knees bent. Get yourself comfortable. Have anything you need handy, blocks or something to sit on at some point. You start to take a few slow but deep breaths. Letting the back body settle into the mat. You'll feel that with each exhale. And as you're letting the body kind of settle in here, taking those slow breaths, you'll have the opportunity to notice what's going on in your body, the chance to feel what's talking to you today, what's needing attention and focus throughout your practice. If there's areas of tension that you could release, but sometimes those areas of tension are there for a reason, and we don't want to let them go because you can feel more discomfort when we release them. So keeping that in mind too. Take one more nice slow breath in, feeling the lungs, feeling the ribs expand, the diaphragm expand. And let it get out the mouth. Bring the hands down by your sides. And we'll start with our bridge pose. So this one's going to be a little bit different today. We're going to walk the feet a little bit closer to each other till the inner edges are touching. And then let the knees widen just a tiny bit wider than the hips. They don't have to be super wide like butterfly legs, but in that general direction. And then curl the tailbone towards the knees. The belly pulls down towards the mat and lift the hips into a low or medium bridge. Okay, so you've got this little bit of external rotation in the hips. And you can stay right here if this is enough, or you can add a little flutter of the knees, just an inch opening and closing that tiny bit. And it just adds a little extra to those glutes and piriformis muscles. So if you feel comfortable enough, stable enough here with your balance, you can keep that going. Otherwise, you can hold steady, separate the feet a little bit if you need to. And we'll start to stretch out the wrists. So reach the right hand up to the sky like a stop sign. And then the left hand will pull back on the right fingers. Reach up through the heel of the hand, get a little stretch in that wrist, forearm. Nice slow breath. And then go ahead and switch wrists. So the left hand is going to make a stop sign to the ceiling. Right hand will pull back on that finger break of the left side and reach up through the heel of the hand. Still hugging the belly in, keeping the low back long. Nice slow breath. And then release the hands, let them come by your side. Take one more breath in your bridge, feeling those glutes come out to those outer hip bones, talking just a little bit there. And then heel toe the feet away from each other to make the knees in line with the hips. And slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lower down, upper back, middle back, and lower back. And give a little wiggle to the legs or hips if you need. And then we'll come to our abdominals. So our feet are going to stay on the mat. Hands are going to come behind the head and interlace the fingers, cupping the skull just to support the weight of the head. Elbows point up. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, lift the head and shoulders straight up off of the mat, hugging the belly down. And then inhale to lower back down. We'll start to add on the next one. Exhale to lift up, hug the belly down, lift the left knee over the hip. Return the foot back to the mat. Inhale as you lower. Exhale, lift up, belly pulls towards the mat. The right knee comes over the hip and just pause there, letting that breath out slowly. And then return the foot, inhale to lower. Adding on again. Exhale to lift up. You can always stick with this. Lift that left knee over the hip. take your right hand and bring it to the left thigh or the knee and give a little pressure into the leg, and the leg pushes back and you'll feel the core turn on a little bit more. Return the hand behind the head, the foot to the mat, inhale to lower. One more on the other side, exhale, lift up. The right knee comes over the hip. The left hand comes to the thigh, and you give that pressure back and forth between hand and thigh. Belly pulls down. Return the hand, return the foot. Inhale and lower. Give your knees a hug. You can add a little rocking on the back or stay still. The other option is bringing your knees towards your armpits and the feet to face the sky and holding on with the hands like happy baby. If you prefer that, that's a little deeper hip flexion. Some people love it, some people hate it. Either version, take a second there. And then bring the feet down and roll to a side and press yourself up. Coming onto the hands and knees for tabletop or quadruped. So you've got the knees right under those bony hip points in the front and the wrists right under the shoulders. So the hands and knees are a little bit closer together than you might have done in the past. All right, so we're in our nice long spine tabletop here. Curl the toes under so that you have some balance. And we're gonna step the left foot back, slide it back on the mat. Feel the knee lengthen, but the foot is on the ground. Hug the belly up. Have a dialed out feeling of the hands. They don't actually move, but it turns the shoulder muscles on a little more, the rotator cuff. And then put your mind into your left tush muscle and think squeeze, 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 and you can lift those toes off the mat behind you. Okay. Now we're gonna keep the toes facing the ground and reach the leg out to the left. And then bring it back to center, slow and controlled, not letting anything else wiggle. Out to the left, back to center. One more time, out to the left, hold it, bring it back in, bring the knee under the hip, take a little wiggle, and then curl left toes under and we'll slide the right foot back. Dialed out feeling in the hands, shoulders are active, belly is pulling up, and think about the right tush muscle activating to lift the foot just an inch or two off the mat, and then reach it out to the right, toes stay facing the ground. Bring it back in. So they want to turn open, but we're trying not to let them. Bring it out. Bring it in. One more time, reach it out, abducting the leg. Bring it back in. Bring the knee under the hip. You can widen the knees with the toes touching and take child's pose there, or any other version that feels good. Nice big breath in and sigh it out. Take another breath or two, adding any wiggles that you need. All right, we're going to start with our first sequence. When you're ready, come to stand at the front of your mat. Okay, find mountain pose. So a little rocking forward and back on the feet, finding balance between the ball and the heel of the foot. You're nice and centered. The knees aren't pressing backwards. They're just barely unlocked there. That gives you room to turn on the glutes and draw in the belly. Collarbones are broad. Gaze is soft. Take an inhale, reach the arms forward to come up. Tailbone stays rooted down. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bending the knees as you fold, trying to keep a long spine. You can grab blocks or come to fingertips. Step the right foot back and lower the knee right under the hip. You can release the toes back and bring your torso upright. Front foot will pull back, back knee will pull forward. Tailbone pulls down. You'll feel that right glute turn on and the belly and ribs pull in together. Arms can lift up. So as the arms reach up, watch that the ribs don't spill forward. Hug them together. Then we'll bring hands down to the mat and step this left knee to meet the right. So you're back in quadruped and come down onto your elbows. So elbows right under the shoulders. Okay, so coming down lower just helps to keep our form a little bit better. Walk the right knee closer towards the right elbow, just an inch or so more. You can tuck the toes again for balance if that helps. Keep the left knee bent, hug the foot towards your bum, and lift the knee back behind you. And then we're going to pretend that we're going to kick the ceiling, but slowly and controlled. So you're doing a glute pulse, hug the belly in, don't let the low back drop. And you're just reaching up and back to where you started, up and back. pulsing that foot towards the ceiling, keeping the knee as bent as you can to keep the glute doing more of the work than the hamstring. And we'll bring this left knee back down to meet the right. Come back onto your hands. And then wrap the right leg behind the left. So you have your legs crossed, the right leg behind left, and do a little cat-cow. Inhale. And exhale, round. You'll get a little extra feeling in the hips doing it this way. Take a few rounds following your breath, inhaling for cow, lifting forward. Exhaling as you round your spine for cat with eagle legs. One more each way. All right, we'll unwrap the legs. Step the right foot forward, doing the other side now. Our low lunge, the right foot is forward. And inhale, reach the arms forward and up. The knee is right under the hip on the left and everything's hugging into the center. Take a nice slow breath here. And then we'll come down with the hands in front. Step that knee next to the left, come down on the elbows. Left knee comes a little bit closer to keep the low belly and back from dropping to the mat. And then that right knee bends as much as it can as it lifts off of the mat. And we'll give that pulse towards the ceiling on the right side, thinking about that right glute being really strong. I get a little shake on this side, that's fun. A few more pulses at your pace. They don't have to be fast. No momentum makes the muscles work harder. And then bring that knee down underneath. You can come back up onto the hands. And take that left knee behind the right, crossing the legs for your cat and cow. Relax the head as you round the spine, maybe a little shake. Inhale for cow. Exhale, cat. One more round, inhaling and exhale. Uncross the legs. We'll come into downward facing dog to start our second sequence. So lift those hips up. You can give a little pedal to the feet since it's our first one. Stretching the heels down one at a time, bending the other knee. Okay, so to get our glutes more involved in down dog, go find some stillness. Hug the belly and ribs up away from the mat, away from the thighs. Bring your feet a little bit closer, if they were wide, really. And we're gonna march the legs. So you're gonna lift, let's start with the right leg. Lift the right leg straight up behind you. Feel the glute click on, and then step it down and switch. Left leg lifts, kind of parallel to the ground, and back down. And just march one at a time, alternating, but getting a definitive feeling of a muscle. Turn it on back there before you switch sides. We'll try to keep it even. So remembering we started on the right side, doing one more on each side. And then when that left foot comes down again, step your feet wide. Walk your hands about halfway or 3/4 of the way back to your feet so that all of the weight is in the feet. Reach back through the hips like you're really sitting down. The hands reach forward and you can relax the head. So this is a happy squat. It's only happy if we don't stay too long and make our thighs burn though. So it's the feeling of this traction in the spine, this lengthening, this releasing of the back body. And just take a nice big breath. So we're getting good hip flexion, knee flexion, and ankle flexion. All right, from here, you walk the hands back to your legs. Hands can come up on the knees as you rise to stand. Walk the feet a little closer. And we're gonna do what's called a flamingo walk. So we'll bring the right knee up to the chest. Turn on that left glute, stand tall. And then step this right foot a little bit forward as it comes down, like you're walking to the top of your mat, and pause with the left knee up to the chest. Again, we're alternating. Step that left foot forward and down. Last one will end with the right knee up to the chest. Pause, hug the belly in. You can raise the arms up if you'd like. And then we'll lower the arms, lower the foot next to the left. Bring all of the weight onto the right leg, and we'll lift that left leg out to the side and slowly back to hover next to the right, out to the side, into hover, out to the side, 2 more, into hover, last one, reaching it open there, and then bring it back to stand. Okay, other side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend at the hips, bend at the knees to fold forward. We'll walk right back to a plank pose. Lower the knees under the spot that they were already in and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Reach the toes back, pull back with the hands to reach the chest forward to come up. Turn the glutes on, inhale, this is low cobra. And then exhale back into our down dog. So a little vinyasa to get there this time. All right, so again, we started off marching the legs here. So we'll start with the left leg lifting this time, and then switch, the right leg will lift. Just do a few on each side, feeling that glute turn on as you lift and hold for a breath or a second even, and switching. It's so funny how one side can feel so different. Okay. The next time the right foot lifts, we'll put it down and pause. Step the feet a little wider. Walk the hands halfway back towards the feet until all the weight is in your heels and your balls of the feet. And then those hips are reaching back. The fingertips are trying to reach forward and the head can relax down. Nice slow breath. Our temporary happy squat. And then walk the hands back towards the feet. Hands can come onto the knees and you come up to stand. Step the feet closer. This time we'll start with the left side. So standing tall on the right side, we'll lift the left knee up to the chest. Good. Slowly step it forward and down. The weight comes onto the left foot, the right knee comes up. Tailbone down, nice. One more step forward with that right, and we'll end with the left knee up. Hold strong, take an extra breath. Arms can go up if you'd like. And then we'll step that left foot down next to the right. The hands can come down and you'll reach the right leg out to the right. So it's straight out and then hovers back next to the left. So just watching when you do this that you don't lean all your weight and try to get the leg higher than it really can actively go. It's not as big of a movement as we might hope. Good, one more time, reaching it out. And then bring it back into stand. Shake out the legs. And we'll do our stream. So we're putting these couple of things together in one sequence. Okay, at the top of the mat, inhale, reach the arms forward to come up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bending the knees, fold forward. Step the right foot back and lower the knee into your low lunge. So it's right under the hip. Toes can be tucked for this one. Come upright, and we'll do some shoulder rolls. So really hugging in through the bottom half of the body. The belly button and down does not move as we roll the shoulders. One at a time, alternating, getting the ribs involved, a little mobility in that upper back. And then slow it down. Hands come down in front. Left knee comes back to meet the right. Come down onto your elbows. Okay, this time we're going to do it a little bit differently. Let's lift the left leg straight back with a straight leg, hug the belly up, and then reach it out to the left, just like we did in our first pose there. Bring it back to center, bring the knee in, keep the knee bent, and then open it out to the side. So it's like a fire hydrant move, puppy dog kind of thing. One more each way. Bring it in, straight back to lift. Bring it in. Knee stays bent as you open it out to the side. Good. Bring it back under. We will come into those eagle legs. So you can come on the hands, cross the left leg behind the right, crossing on the mat. And take 1 or 2 cat-cow here. Nice big breath in. Exhale it out. Round the spine, relax the head. One more, inhale. And exhale, round. All right, uncross the legs. Lift into downward facing dog. And we'll march here. So lifting one leg at a time, just 2 on each side this time. Switch feet. Switch again. And last time, switch. That right leg lifts, pause, feel the glute on. And then stepping that foot down, the feet go a little bit wider. The hands walk back. Hinge into the hips, bend the knees, relax the head, reach the hands forward as the hips pull back. So it's as if one person's pulling your hips and the other one's pulling your arms. And then hands to the knees, rise to stand. We'll stand tall on the left leg as the right knee comes up for our flamingo walk. Step forward and down, pausing with the left knee up. One more, forward and down, pausing with the right knee up, and this time we're gonna change it. So we're gonna bring this knee to tree pose so the foot can come above or below the left knee. The knee is gonna point out to the side as far as it can. Stand tall on that left glute, pull the ribs and belly in, arms can move wherever you'd like, up our heart center or stay out for balance. And then we're gonna lower the arms, step the right foot, you're gonna cross your ankle. So the foot is gonna come across behind and towards the left side. So you've got the outer edges of the feet together. Okay, grabbing blocks if you need, you can fold with your hands on your knees or you can fold all the way down. Bend the knees a little bit if you need and just give a little wiggle of the hips. You'll feel that in the outer leg, the outer hip, glute, IT band. And then uncross, and we'll do the other side. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hinge at the hips to fold forward. Fingertips or blocks, step back with the left foot, lower the knee under the hip, keep the toes tucked, and we'll come upright. Hug everything into center and roll one shoulder back at a time. Up, back, and around, getting the ribs involved. And then slowing it down, hands come down in front. The right knee meets the left. You can come onto the elbows. Okay, we'll have that right leg reach straight back and off of the mat. Hug the ribs and belly in towards the back body. Bring the knee in next to the left and then keeping it bent, reach it open like a fire hydrant puppy. Bring it in, reach it straight back. Last one, bring it in, fire hydrant move. And then bring it back in, cross it behind the other leg. You can come onto the hands and take your cat-cow. Inhaling, looking forward. Exhale to round. One more each way. Inhale. And exhale. All right, uncross the legs, down dog. Lift the hips high. Lift the belly towards the spine. All right. Starting with the right leg this time, lift that leg straight back behind you. Step it down. Left leg lift. Step it down. Right leg. Step. And last one left. We'll pause. Feel that glute on. Step that foot down. Bring the feet a little bit wider. Walk the hands back. Sit into the hips. Really feel that length in the spine. And then the hands can slide back, coming up to the knees to help stand. Feet come together and that right knee, might have mixed that up. I think it's the right knee up to the chest. No, it's the left. Switch, left leg. And then step left foot forward, right knee up to the chest. Step right foot forward. Left knee comes up, find your balance. And then we'll turn that knee open as the foot comes inside of the right leg, above or below the knee. Really point that knee open as far as it will go, adjusting the hands or arms where you would like, and take a breath in tree pose. Watch that you're not sinking that right hip out to the side. Squeeze that glute. And then release the foot down. We're going to cross the left ankle behind the right. Okay, so you've got the outer edges of the feet towards each other. And then bend the knees as much as you need. Fold forward. You can use blocks under the hands here. And then just give a little wiggle of the hips or the ribs, whichever seems to move easier. Wiggle something, and you'll get a little bit different feeling. All right. Uncross the feet. We're going to come into pigeon pose. So there's two different ways of doing it. If you know what you like, you can come into that one. Otherwise, the options are to come onto your back and you'll cross one ankle over the other knee for a figure 4 and pull that whole thing in towards you. or coming into quadruped on the hands and knees, bringing the left knee forward towards the left wrist and crossing the ankle to the other side of the mat. So you're face down in this version, and you'll walk that right foot back, keeping it in line with the hip and not letting the ankle turn. You can always add props under the hips to keep the pelvis level and fold forward as far as you're comfortable. So this is the prone version, going down as far as you'd like, adding anything under your chest or forehead as well. And on your back would look like this. So you'd be on your back, your left ankle across the right knee, and the right knee pulling in towards the right shoulder, not letting it cross towards the chest. So whichever version works for you, it's just a little outer hip stretch. Take a breath. Let that breath come out the mouth. And then switching sides. So if you're on your back, you'll bring the feet to the mat and cross the other way. If you're face down, you can come all the way up to down dog or just into tabletop and switch the legs there. And switching props to whichever side you need. One side may be very different than the other, tighter or looser. And then once you're in the comfortable spot for you, take that nice slow breath. And then slowly bring the feet back to the mat or come back into tabletop and around onto your back. So again, you have the option here, just like we did at the very start. You can just hug the knees into the chest and add a little rocking there, or circling. The knees come away and then come closer as you circle. Or you can do happy baby with the knees towards the armpits, the feet face the sky with the hands holding on to the edges of the feet, and add a rock there if you'd like. Whichever version feels best for you. One is just a bigger hip flexion than the other, may feel more or less comfortable for certain bodies. And then we'll slowly lower the feet back to the mat. If you do have props, it might feel nice for the low back to put something under your knees, whether it's blocks or pillows, bolsters, blankets. So a little something under the knees if you would like that. And then you can come down onto your back in Shavasana, letting the feet spill open, letting the hands go wide. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out the mouth. Feel the back body just melt into the mat. Separate the backs of the teeth to release the jaw. And unfurl the eyebrow. We'll stay here for just a minute, but you're welcome to stay longer. As always, I welcome you to stay here as long as you need, ending or pausing the video. Or without moving anything just yet, start to deepen the breath. And on the next breath, maybe add a little wiggle to the fingers and toes, circling the wrists or ankles. Maybe stretching the arms overhead, reaching the feet and hands away from each other for another big breath. And then bending the knees and rolling to a side, pressing yourself up to sit as you are ready to sit. Sit the spine tall in any comfortable position. Bring the hands together at the heart center. Take a nice big breath in one more time. Sigh it out the mouth. Feel the chin drop, the shoulders soften. Thank you for joining me this morning in this practice. I hope you have a beautiful day full of happiness, health, and peace. Namaste.